They call it Africa. I call it my motherland. They call it Africa. I call it my roots. They call it Africa. I call it Africa, my genesis. Africa, my revelation. From the mountains and valleys that stand tall in beauty to the rich African soil that brings music to my feet. From the forest rich in trees that gives me shade to the gentle breeze that feeds my soul. So again and again and again I say, Africa, my genesis. Africa, my revelation. I think of all its richness in minerals, from coal to gold, from silver to platinum, and I see how blessed I am to be an African. I think of all the good food that the rich African soil produces, from mealies to sunflower. I think of all its richness in animals. Big five, le botlo, botsukudu le mangau, resa le vale malumetau. Au batung, how blessed I am to be an African. So again and again and again I say, Africa, my genesis. Africa, my revelation. Ontlenyane ya lefatshe, o khabile ka mebala, milite talente, o dirwele jaka pikoko. So pardon me if I sound too proud, but I am proud to be an African. So with echoes and echoes and echoes, I say, Africa, my genesis. Africa, my revelation. Halala!
Ah, halala indeed. Oh my goodness me, what a way to kickstart the show. Welcome to Trendz Live on SABC. Kamala Mumnetisi, but you can call me Mne. It's a special edition of the show because tomorrow is Africa Day. It was on the 25th of May in 1963 when African nations came together to form the Organization of African Unity, which later became the African Union in 2002. It's on this day that Africans throughout the continent and the world celebrate this dynamic and diverse continent. Do interact with us by sending us your pictures on X on how you plan to celebrate Africa Day. Our handle is @Trendz on SABC. Speaking all things African, tonight we have the privilege of speaking with one of South Africa's most talented and inspiring young stars. Her name is Botlhale Boikanyo. Rising to fame at a tender age after winning South Africa's Got Talent in 2012, Botlhale captivated the nation with her extraordinary poetic prowess. Now, at 23, she has evolved into a multifaceted artist, gracing our screens as an actress, engaging audiences as a social media influencer, and making strides as a 2024 Nelson Mandela Washington Fellow. What an incredible way to kickstart the show. Welcome to Trendz Live.
Thank you so much for having me.
First of all, belated happy birthday.
Thank you.
Where's the cake? Okay, I'm going to hold you to that.
Yes.
This is live. Man, let's talk about your journey. You started poetry at a very young age.
Yes.
What prompted this?
Sure. So I always say that I feel like art and poetry found me because I started at a very young age. My first performance was at 6 years old.
Yeah.
So I think at the time, I just liked the spotlight. I like being the main character. So for me, any opportunity to be able to perform, I jumped at it. My first performance was at a school concert that my teacher was organizing. And I was just like, I want to try.
Yep, I'll do it.
Yeah, so I think that's where it started. And then I kept writing, I kept performing, school concerts, funerals, weddings, church services, any platform that I would get, until I realized that I do love this thing. I love art. I love the healing nature of what I do. And I kept going,
Look, a lot of South Africans grow up and they say we hate our parents for calling us when come perform, but seems like you liked it.
Oh, definitely.
Then 2012 happens. South Africa's Got Talent. Talk to me about how that changed your life.
Oh my word, SA's Got Talent was definitely a full shift, right? I think firstly, it put my talent on the biggest platform really that one could have. I was the first poet on the show. I was the youngest contestant and winner on the show. So I think, yeah, that was really just a launching pad. I mean, I'd been doing this since I was 6 and here I was at 11. So it really was a launching pad to many more stages. I mean, I've been able to now take my art internationally and just take it on stages that were unimaginable, you know. Yeah, so that was really SA's Got Talent for me.
We're really, really proud of you. And I think everybody in the whole country really loved watching your journey soar. Then you decide that you're going to transition. Now you're an actress. You captivate us. You're a social media influencer. Talk to me about how that comes about.
Yeah, I think I always say the thing about me is I'm a multi-dimensional storyteller. So people met me through poetry, but even back then I was in dance. I would compete ballroom, Latin, hip-hop. I used to love watching stories and soapies. So for me, I always knew I wanted to also enter the world of screen and telling stories, right? I also studied in filmmaking. So for me, it's just all about storytelling. Any avenue that I get to be able to tell stories is my life's purpose.
You know what I love? I love the fact that you then use your platform, because people think social media influencers are all about the glitz and the glam, but now you using it to properly impact people who look up to you, because you're only 23 years old.
Yeah, I think social media really presents an incredible opportunity to use social media for social impact and social change, right? So it's so important that we take on the responsibility to be able to make our audiences aware of things that are happening around us and really be a positive voice within the social media space.
I love that. Africa Day is happening tomorrow. Your poetry really is rooted in Africa. I mean, we heard the poem that you just did now. Talk to me about how the diversity of our rich continent inspires your poetry.
Oh man, I have probably the most amount of poems that I've written are about our continent, about Africa, right? I think with our country and our continent, there's inspiration everywhere. There's inspiration in the people and the conversations that we have, in the things around us. I mean, just seeing mountains when you go to Elalis and KZN or Eastern Cape. It's in the people, it's in the diversity, it's in what we wear and the African prints. So it really has inspired my work. I think that there's so much beauty in being African, and that's one thing I love about Africa Month and Africa Day, is that we get to celebrate just being African, which I think is like so incredible. It's really a superpower at this point.
Love the fact that you also include Setswana when you do your poems. You're just a storyteller, man, and it's absolutely, absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
I must say, congratulations, 2024 Mandela Washington Fellow. What does this achievement mean for you?
Oh man, I think it really was big. I mean, hearing last week we had our pre-fellowship orientation that there were over 50,000 applications across Africa, right? And to be one of the 40 leaders in South Africa is really such an honor. I think I'm excited at the opportunity to network with other African leaders, right? I think even the whole point of the African Union and why we celebrate Africa Day is to bring and unite and to collaborate and to think of innovative ideas to bring Africa forward, right? So that for me is why I'm excited, because it means that I get to collaborate and network with other African leaders, but more than anything also build myself as an African leader and be able to then come back and better serve my community, my society, Kohaye. So yeah, I'm really excited for that opportunity.
We are really, really proud of you, Butlale.
Thank you.
Before I let you go, what's next for you? Because we've seen you skyrocket, and I can only imagine not even the sky is the limit for you. What's next for Butlale?
Currently, really the Mandela Washington Fellowship, which begins in the coming month. I'm been on new sets, so I've got some films coming out, which is really exciting. I'm writing, so I'm hoping to publish really soon. But yeah, more of storytelling, more of just using my voice for social impact and social change.
We're going to be keeping our eye on you. One more time, belated happy birthday. Enjoy your Jordan,
Thank you.
Do it like the youngins do it. Oh my goodness me, that's Butlale, from one diamond of the country to another. The next duo are taking the world of pageantry by a storm as the creator of the Miss SA pageant crown. See, it's not just a crown. There's a beautiful story behind it. We caught up with them at their offices where they also showcased their latest collection. Take a look.
The crown, a physical manifestation of success and excellence, often signifying the winner's grace, beauty, and dedication. The Moana crown creators Ursula and Galebogapule take pride in representing the beauty of Africa through their crafts as diamantiers.
My creative journey actually starts in fashion. So I am a fashion designer by profession, and I joined the jewelry industry in 2017 when I came onto into Nungu Diamonds as its creative director.
In the diamond industry, we're called diamanteers. That just refers to our expertise in the space of diamond cutting and polishing.
When it comes to growing in, I think in any journey really, so even with myself, when I started with fashion and I came into the diamond industry, it was a very big question of can I, you know, and what tools do I have at my disposal. And my biggest tool obviously was my husband at the time, who had been in the diamond industry, and he taught me as much as he could about polished diamonds, even a bit about rough diamonds. And once I learned that, then you pick up on the metal side and say, okay, fine, so what am I learning? And you really study a lot of people, a lot of different jewelry brands. And when it came to, you know, what inspires me in jewelry, it's Africa, it's African diamonds, it's our cultures, it's even, you know, myself, my children. So when it comes to collections like the Palisa collection, it was the first inspiration for it was obviously having a beautiful pair of earrings or a ring that you can wear every day that matches with everything, and it makes you happy. You know, looking at it and how it made me feel, it made me feel like my grandmother's hug. So that's kind of what then inspired the name Palisa, to say, you know, my grandmother being a Mosotho woman, Palisa is a flower, and therefore the feeling that collection gave me reminded me of her so much.
Where my journey begins more specifically is I'm a lawyer by profession, one that hasn't practiced. I make a point to say that all the time. And I was fortunate to be mentored by a gentleman who was in the diamond business at the time. He taught me a lot about the diamond business, diamonds themselves, where to get your license, how to cut and polish diamonds. And I started Nungu Diamonds in 2013, mainly in the diamond cutting and polishing space and diamond dealing space, where we were buying rough diamonds and selling rough diamonds, and only pivoted into diamond jewelry in 2016, 2017, when my wife joined the business.
With so much meticulous attention to detail, it was only a matter of time before they struck a deal of a lifetime.
In 2019, when Zozibini became Miss Universe, it was a big moment for South Africa. That's how we saw it. Here's a young girl with that hairstyle that she had, and she's dark-skinned, man, and here she is becoming Miss Universe. And we thought, this is a brand we would want to one day be associated with. So through our network of people, we were able to interact with the Miss South Africa organization and entered into a deal last year to make the Moana crown as we have it now. And we anticipate that we're going to be working with them in the future moving forward. But it was a dream that we had, and we've been fortunate to have all the dreams we've had so far come true. And the hope is that the many more dreams that we have continue to come true as well.
It weighs just under a kilo. The tree is a baobab tree. So then the baobab tree is called Moana in Setswana. So that's where the name of the crown came from. Because the significance of the tree is in just African history as a whole. This tree is known as the tree of life, right? It's a very resilient tree. It's a healing tree as well. And I think as a symbol of femininity, you know, it is quite a good parallel the baobab tree and a woman, and the strength that she has, and you know, her growth as well, because these trees grow and they are the wisest trees. Basically, they keep all the secrets. Yeah. So that is the beauty of Moana, the tree. And when it comes to all the stones, it's 800 plus stones on this crown. But when it comes to the white diamonds there, so you have round diamonds, you have the pear-shaped stones up here, you have blue sapphires, you have citrines, you have smoky quartz. So we put in a lot of gemstones as well to get all our color, because this is obviously representative of the ground. And then you have now your sunrise coming up, because every day is a new day to try again. So that's what we wanted, you know, to represent it for the queen, that every day is a new day where she gets to take it on and, you know, be better than yesterday, do more than yesterday, and be appreciated.
It's often said it takes a diamond to cut another diamond. And this pair is undoubtedly a match made in diamond heaven.
Oh, the crown jewels of South Africa. Listen, we're going to take a quick ad break, and when we come back, we're sipping bubbles in Johannesburg with Noni. Keep it locked to Trendz Live. Welcome back to Trendz Live on SABC. Now tell me, what comes to mind when I say sophisticated floral chic? Is it a floral dress, a suit, or are we wearing a dramatic floral hat or something understated? To answer that question and more, Noni Kumalo spent an afternoon at Inanda in Sandton exploring a dress code at a champagne and bubbles festival.
It's a beautiful and sunny day out in Johannesburg, and we find ourselves at the Cap Classique Champagne and Bubbles Festival out in Inanda in Sandton. Look, the dress code for today was sophisticated floral chic, and we came out dressed to the nines. Let's go see what this event is all about. If you prefer a daytime soiree, then this is the place to be. To enjoy a superb afternoon surrounded by all things bubbly as you immerse yourself in a sensory journey, sampling delicate Italian Proseccos, bold South African Cap Classiques, and elegant champagnes from France. Oui, oui.
I think it's always important to let your hair down and have a bit of fun, and I think that's always my main aim, is to make sure when people come to the event that they really do have fun. We've got such incredible South African Cup Classiques, and I think it's for people to come along. They can taste the Italian wines, they can taste the French wines, and then they can taste our South African wines, and they'll see that our South African Cup Classic is just brilliant. We've got a few black-owned wineries that have come along. They are all new, they're brilliant. We've got House of Azari, we've got Amari, we've got Nonola, we've got Kulu Fine Wines, and they're new to the market, they're new to the scene, and they have just brought out such brilliant bubbles, and it just is a fantastic day out.
Let's go meet one of them.
So Amari Wines is a wine company. Our flagship brand is called Amari Lush, which is a demi-sec MCC, and we're here to showcase today at this beautiful festival.
There's so many guests coming here today with different tastes. What do you want them to take away from the Amari Lush experience?
Look, I think more than the product itself, we want them to hear the story. It is a black-owned brand started by 4 young black kids who had a dream, and we've made this dream happen for ourselves, and now in places like this where we can actually showcase our dream and let people actually experience us as a brand.
Now that we have experienced the bubbly, let's take a look at the fashion. We asked Ariel whether she had a firm favorite.
I don't, but luckily I'm not the judge, which is fantastic. I've got 2 judges coming along. They get us a group of ladies and gentlemen that make the finals, and then we let the crowds decide.
You ladies look lovely, and I thought I definitely have to chat to you.
So I really like bright colours, and I like things that are quite fitted, so I thought this was perfect. It's nice and summery, even though we're in the middle of May, but let's just go with it. This is my favourite colour, and it's really nice and hot, and I wanted to show a bit of skin.
I'm only wearing half the outfit. So the hat's Crystal Birch, love you Crystal Birch, the real Crystal Birch hat factory in Cape Town. Pants quite old, big blue, and yeah, a little bit overdressed for the heat, but a lovely, lovely day.
I thought everybody's going to simply go for flowers, and I thought, okay, how would I stand out? I obviously need something bright and bold, and it's an interpretation of a flower. So usually the stem is green, and then the pink is the actual petals.
Oh, hello. My name is Naomi Tebe. I'm from Gaborone, Botswana. I saw this advert for this event, and I was like, wow, it's sophisticated floral chic. And I'm like, oh yeah, before the summer ends, I could do that with some bubbles. Of course. Why not?
Have you ever driven on the N1 between Johannesburg and the Free State? Right? When you drive past, you often see sunflowers, right, on a very brown bed of ground. Right, so my brown is the ground, and then you have a little sunflower over here that represents the floral chic. Right, and you can see here my friend is also very yellow today.
Jeepers, what a description! Oh, stop it, I like it! If you could describe yourself as any form of bubbles, so think of a bottle of bubbles. If you could describe yourself as that, which one would it be and why?
I think for me, I'll think of like any brute actually, because I feel like the brute is a bit bitter, but then it always gets you where you're supposed to go. That's me.
I'd have to go with the Pongratz brute.
Definitely.
And what is it about the brooch that you're like, it's definitely that?
It's because it's a mix of a Pinot Noir and a Chardonnay, and that's also two of my favorite wines as well. So if you put those two together in a bottle, that's me.
Shockingly, the Lamborghini one, it is incredible. As a new entry here, it tastes amazing. So I would recommend to anyone, even in price, it's that up there, but it's actually incredible in taste, flavor, and it's full body champagne.
I would have to say anything that's dry, so not too sweet, and I love bubbles, so I'm a bubbles girl, but my favorite is definitely Moana at the moment.
To wrap it up, we asked the guests whether or not they're taking Best Dressed.
No. There are a lot of people who dress way better than
This hat is actually DIY, and it took me around 2 hours to make it. I added boxes, and I bought some artificial flowers, and then put strings around them, and just made it. I made it look fab for today. I think it's mine. I've actually received over 100 compliments today just for my hat. So I'm taking it, no matter what, it's mine.
Oh, it's the little pleasures of life to make you feel special. Speaking about special, much to the delight of Sjava fans and lovers of the 18-track studio album titled Isibuko, the deluxe album released on the 10th of May promises to continue the reflective and emotional journey that listeners have been on since January of last year. He said himself, this deluxe album is really for the fans who've supported the album and have wanted more from it. This is a thank you to them, he says. To tell us more about the celebratory deluxe album and everything else he has been up to, welcome to Trendz Live, the man of the moment in Bali, Java, but not alone, the coolest kids, man, in South Africa currently. It's the Coilers. Gentlemen, welcome to Trendz Live. I thought it was shy my plate. Man, look, in Zalifa, let's chat about this. The original Isibuko album celebrated 1 year in January this year. Then you also announced that it hit platinum. How did that make you feel?
Ungijabulise kakhulu because I believe ukuthi sonke masenza music is because we want it to be heard. So makubonakala ukuthi abantu bayilalela into eshoyo nawe uyakhuthaza lokho ekutheni ubhale more because clearly kusho ukuthi lento eyikhulumayo iyawenza umehluko emphakathini. So I think for me it's always that nanokuthi mohlala nabo abantu sometimes mabekutshela ukuthi hey ingoma yakhe kanje ngithanda ngokuthi or ngisize ngokuthi. So it's not just ukuthi bayakhuluma kuphela, now you get to see it even in numbers. Okay, that means lo muntu angahlala naye last week ethi ingoma yalalelo engaqamba manje naye imphumelo. So kuyajabulisa kakhulu kuyakhuthaza
100%. And I mean sayibona imphumela yaloko because you sold out 3 shows last year. You went on a tour to promote Isibuko for the first time, and now you've decided you're coming back in 2024 and you're extending the tour for the deluxe album. What are you hoping to achieve with that? What are you hoping to give more to your listeners?
Ngathini izathu ukuthi kwenziwe i-tour, it's because sifuna ukuthi yonke leyo nto izwile kuleyo album ukwazi futhi ukuyi-experience alive. And from just doing that ngesibuko, because it was the first time where we say we're just going to do a tour, i-album kuphela. Now because of seeing ukuthi it's something that worked out, because nathi bezizama ukwenza izinto ngendlela ehlukile. So from there we realized ukuthi that means we can do isinamuva now. That means we can do umqhele. So going forward, sesokwazi ukuthi on this day umqhele kuphela, on this day isinuva kuphela, and that helps ukuthi kungabi nomuntu ozothi after show iculanga le wangaculanga le, because all the 3 albums maswacula it's about 6 hours, so it's impossible. So ngasho ukuthi this time around people must just expect a good time. Zokumnandi amajita azoba khona, all the guys that feature on the album bazoba khona on the day. So nje good time more than anything.
I absolutely agree. And I think it's always sad when you go to a concert and then you're like, bengifuna ukuzwa le ngoma lela, bengifuna ukuzwa iTyphoon, and then amajita work, and then it's like, come on. Asikhulume ngomehluko because Isibuko was the first one, but now there's a deluxe. What's the difference between a deluxe album and the previous one?
For me, angazi kwabanye how they usually do it, but for me, masenza project, moyenza project ngasosikhathi usuku feel a certain way. So as time goes, manje going forward, I don't feel the same way I felt when I made this book. So I want to uqeda ngayo yonke into nemizwa yesibuko the emotion yesibuko to say konke na kuphelele nalo wakusele na ufake lapho so that mangiqhokela phambili start on a clean slate and just do something enyehlukile from that. So for me it was that ukuthi senze i-deluxe because I felt like khona okunye okusasele bengakakusho.
I have to ask you though, because you went on a retreat wahamba waya entabeni zokhahla to take an album deluxe retreat. Yini le oyithole lapha entabeni zokhahla that was so special added to isibuko?
Engakusho ukuthi there's something special about that.
You're still tuned in to Trendz Live on SABC, and throughout though, we're having a fun show. We thought we're gonna take it up a notch. Listen, padel is known as the world's fastest growing sport and fitness trend. This hybrid racket sport is certainly gaining more momentum in South Africa and appeals to all ages and fosters a sense of community. We follow Rufile Matila as she learns more about it at 10 by 20 in Killarney, Johannesburg. Could she be our next padel champion? I don't know. Let's find out.
Let's get physical.
Good.
I was elated to find out more about this blossoming sport called padel. All around me, I've seen brightly colored courts popping up with people holding teeny tiny rackets. Welcome to the highly addictive world of padel.
It is a hybrid between squash and tennis. It's the same rules as tennis with your 15, 30 or 40. It's sets, you know, game, set and match. It works exactly the same. Best out of 3 sets, first to 6 games is 1 set. But then you get the walls around you, which us tennis players are not used to, and that's where the squash comes involved. You're actually allowed, as you can see, you're allowed to use the balls off the walls, but it has to bounce once, and that's where the squash comes into it, eh? But basically tennis ruling all the way.
Padel is defined by a smaller court than a traditional tennis court. The ball is slightly depressurized and the rackets are unique.
So the rackets are made out of, there's a sponge inside and it's got a little bit of carbon fiber on the outside. So some of them have different trends of carbon fiber. Some of them have more fiberglass in them. So it could be half fiberglass, half carbon fiber. But obviously the more carbon fiber you have, the tighter the racket gets. And you get different range of rackets, you know, so you don't have to specifically go for your crazy expensive. So there's a lot of different rackets out there, and yeah, so very cool.
It all depends on, you know, how does the racket feel in your hand and how does the racket feel when you hit a ball. Every single person is different from a strength perspective, and if you take a look at this has got a hard balance, 18K carbon, a high balance as well, and it weighs 360 grams. So I think from a weight perspective, which is probably what most people would look at, for men, stronger men, you're probably looking at about 360 up, and then for ladies between 350 and 360, and then for kids anywhere from 340 to 350 grams.
It's a sport that originated in the 60s in Mexico, but now it's experiencing a global boom as the trendiest sport, including here in Johannesburg at the Killarney Country Club.
We are relatively new to padel here in South Africa. And in terms of the club here, I think the club is about 2 years old. One of them being Vereniging 3 Rivers, there's a 10 by 20 in Lenasia, and there's also a 10 by 20 across our borders in Botswana.
And how has the uptake been in Johannesburg?
Just because I think the community is so big, it's absolutely exploded in Johannesburg. I mean, I actually can't believe that it's got the way it's blown up in the last 2 years. It's actually unbelievable.
Not only is it a great workout, but the sport offers a large social element to it, building communities and friendships.
The club is all about inclusivity, all about growing the sport, and a large section of their focus is with schools. And they also offer an outreach program where they've brought kids from previously disadvantaged environments to come in and to enjoy the sport and just to have fun, and obviously to look at where the talent lies and to develop that talent. 10x20 has a sister brand called Netset Paddle, extending to KZN, White River, Bloemfontein, soon to be opening up at Sandton City, and also locations like Secunda, where the community is absolutely excited for the opening. We will provide lots of paddle for everyone, and like I said, a fantastic lifestyle for young, old, anybody in between.
With over 25 million players across 90 countries worldwide, this sport is on the rise.
This was my first racket sport. I never played any tennis or squash. The only thing I knew is soccer, so coming to here was my first time like a racket sport.
I was a tennis player, and then my mate just invited me once to play, and I sold my tennis rackets the next day immediately. I was hooked.
And I played for 14 years international tennis, but unfortunately I had an injury. So then I went to paddle, and yeah, just love it every day. It's the best choice I've made.
I was a South African junior tennis player growing up. I played all the way till I was about 16, 17. Actually never ever touched a racket after that for about 7.5 years. I was actually working in a restaurant at the time, and one of my co-workers had been begging me to come and try this new sport paddle that had just arrived in Joburg, and it took him 5.5 months to convince me. Literally as soon as I stepped on the court and played the first one, I knew that it was for me.
But what advice would you give a beginner to come out and join?
Paddle might seem intense and competitive, but the fun side behind it and the social aspect is what keeps people coming back. So just be open-minded and come and have fun and try it out.
Dedication and loving what you do. Maybe if ever they could come to 10x20, they will see that here at 10x20 we are so dedicated. The youth, maybe they can come, like if ever they could come, therefore they will know what is paddle and how nice it is.
And I hear paddle may be responsible for a little love story.
2 years ago, so I came to Kalani courts the first time when they hosted a Philo event here, and I met Keegan Roy, the head coach here. I met him for the first time, and then I met her here. She was the hostess there, and this is a. So yeah, I met her through coming here for the first time about 2 years ago, and it's been good ever since.
I love it.
Paddle has been good to me.
You've been warned. This is an addictive sport. Side effects include an elevated mood, socializing, and heart-thumping fun. I've had an absolute ball. 10x20 paddle, OMG. This is a sport that calls on community. It's a sport that helps you build your endurance and fitness, and trust me, it is 10 tons of fun. The name's Refilo Matsila. It's been an absolute joy. Until our next adventure.
Look, I'm not gonna try and keep up with Fifi, but hey, have you tried paddle? What did you think? Drop us a mention on X. Our handle is @Trendz on SABC. Now, you've been waiting for it, and they're finally gonna set the Trendz live stage ablaze. It's in Dlalifa's Java, teaming up with the Koilers. It's called Typhoon, right here on Trendz Live. Enjoy.
I'd be lying. Ave ngiyamsukela umntana womuntu tshele ngodala takana sisivumvum kana typhoon permanent joy ntwana ngishaya ithathu taka ngingizmetha I love you too mina ngiyamthanda through takana sisivumvum kana typhoon permanent joy ntwana ngishaya ithathu taka ngingizmetha I love you too mina ngiyamthanda through because like so yeah yeah pressure no darling back straight yeah we shall discuss it darling me right winger sale saji dala pa mang na wang deshi dala dingi try ginger when consazan le pantula le akfila ma bathune ifukubuka ngiboni le qale sipusha ya by 4G so glad hey takana sisivumvum kana typhoon permanent joy ntwana ngishaya ithathu taka ngingizmetha I love you too mina ngiyam
ngiyakuntshontsha nangishaya ithathu taka ngingizmetha I love you too mina ngiyamthanda through it goes like so ngiyabheja ngawe darling fake straight win I love you too mina ngiyamthanda through taka nasivung vung kanathafu permanent Jordan nangishaya ithathu taka ngingizmetha I love you too.
Welcome back to Trendz Live. Keep the love coming on X. The handle is @Trendz on SABC. Now, Tumi Molekane is a hip-hop giant that has graced the South African music industry with his presence and superb lyricism for decades. From frontman of Tumi and The Volume to now the immovable Stogie T, his music is thought-provoking, impactful, and draws from his view of the world. His new EP titled Shallow has hit the streets, and tonight we get to break down the project with him and pick his brain a bit. Ladies and gentlemen, it's rap royalty Stogie T in the building. Welcome to Trendz Live, my bro.
What's up, brother? You good?
Good.
Salute.
5 a.m. gang, I'm surprised you energy still up.
I'm out here. Come on, let's get it.
Man, thank you for taking the time to be with us. Let's talk about this project. The writing of it started deep within the pandemic.
Deep in the pandemic.
Talk to me about your state of mind during then.
You know, I was, even a little prior to it. So, you know, when I looked at the stuff after the pandemic, to me, I was like, what is the stuff I was writing? The world has changed. We just went through an apocalypse, you know?
Yeah.
So it was like kind of revisiting the music and just kind of trying to find an avenue for it. And, you know, I felt like these 6 songs represented for me that whole chaos and that, you know, mindset.
I mean, your work is always like laced with deep meaning. Like there's always like deeper things to understand. I mean, we take it from your previous work also. Right. What do you hope your audience takes away from this new EP?
I mean, I think, you know, look, it's a snapshot. My music has always been like a snapshot of how we feel, you know, like I feel like I'm a repository of like how the nation is feeling, you know. And Shallow really to me felt like, look, you know, after all that we've been through, I think this is kind of like a little view, you know what I mean? Like if you're looking in and going, hey, I'm married, we are those people, you know?
Yeah.
And you can hear it in the music, you know?
You definitely can hear it because also you've got a guitar riff in the song Shallow. It's quite edgy, man. It does something.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the other genres that you like to infuse in your music because one would think this is like a rocky influence.
Yeah, absolutely. So the producer of the whole project, I work with a guy called Shane Cooper. He's a jazz musician, but he's an incredible, proficient producer. And our thing was, you know, I'm an 80s baby, so, you know, I really wanted to kind of capture that sound, some of that sound, you know, and some of the soul stuff, you know. So yeah, there's a lot of like folky, you know, particularly Shallow has like some folk guitar in it. There's some straight up 80s, you know. There's a song I do, you know, a remake of Brenda Fassie's Too Late for Mama, you know, on the EP. So, you know, I mean, you know, we're balancing, you know.
And then people think it's weird when we call you rap royalty. This is exactly what I'm talking about. And you know what? People would think that when you are from the 80s, we are the old people now. I'm not from the 80s, by the way.
Yeah, I got
no
you.
shade to you. we see your infusions and the meticulous choosing of the things that you put in your projects, like the genres that you use, but also the people that you feature. You give us artists that we know, you give us artists that we don't know. Talk to me about that process.
Artists that I'm a fan of, you know.
Artists that you're a fan of. But you see, when you're born in 2000 and you're a fan of, you know what I mean?
No doubt. But I mean, I'm a fan of, you know, I'm a fan of young artists. I'm a fan of all, you know, for me, it's like, you know, I feature Brittany Crush, who's from the US, who's an incredible young artist. I have Saki on the album. I got on the EP. I have Bonge. I have Soul Williams, legendary Soul Williams, spoken word artist, you know, from New York. And you know, I feel really blessed to be able to even have that ear, you know what I mean? To say, hey, listen to my music, you know? But to also be able to sit with them and go, look, this is a vision I have, and for them to be so generous with me, you know?
And then come on to the music and then like create something magical.
Absolutely, man.
Oh man, we absolutely love it. But now I have to ask you, because why an EP and not an album? You know, when a person has been around for as long as you, we are always expecting you to feed us, man. Like we're expecting long track lists. So why not an album this time around?
Great question. You know, the thing that has kept me here for so long is that I'm teachable. I have a teachable spirit, and I'm not going to force feed people a whole album when they can barely listen to 3 songs.
Ooh,
you feel me? So I'm gonna listen to my audience. I'm gonna listen to who the people are and try to reach them, you know? So yeah, you know, that's really why I thought, like, look, here's a bite size, here's a Scooby snack, as we call it in hip hop.
Keep you coming back for more.
That's it.
Look, man, we are less than a week away from elections in our country. I think it's quite poetic that you decided to do this now.
Yeah, I mean, you know, look. Here's a suggestion. Vote your conscience.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Vote your conscience.
Hopefully you have a conscience.
Those are discussions for another time.
Those are politics for another time. Man, we absolutely love it. Talk to me about what's next for Stogie T, because somebody who has a track record as big and as illustrious as yours, having a teachable spirit only could mean that we are going to get more from you. What is next?
I'm on tour. So I'm on a summer European tour now for like 2 months. I love it, and also I worry about it because I have children. And I hate being away from my children for so long. They're old, man. They're going to leave the house just now. So I need to maximize my time with them. You guys are lucky I'm even here. But no, so yeah, touring, a little bit of touring, of course, promoting the EP, and, you know, hoping to touch and feel how people respond to it, and, you know, and hopefully on the other side of the elections, you know, hoping for smooth elections and a new South Africa.
But then when are you giving us this album?
Hey, you know what, man? Look here, man. Take what you got.
This guy. You see, this is the problem when you're exceptional at what you do. You get to say, take what you get, and I'm not giving you anymore. Come on,
we're cooking.
Man, we absolutely love it. All the best with the EP. We enjoy it so much. I enjoy Shallow, and we spoke about the guitar riffs. I know you can't wait to hear it too. So here he is now, setting the Trendz live stage ablaze. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Rap Royalty. Stogie T live.
To dream, searching for something, we're caught in between. To die, to be awake, to go, to be sleep. Shallow is the cause, but the pain is so deep. 2 scars I got, make it too hard to speak. Searching for something, but caught in between. It's demons and it's monsters at war inside of me. Shallow is the cause, but inside there's no peace.
Big homie posted up, liquor for me with cordon blanc. Kids homie folded up with the homie annoying us. I'm from that, I'll be sax. I really know photo bombs. Soldier mom, toting arms. Her demons are slow but dawn. My demons are autoborn. German engine at full exhaust. The children, the trauma, we frog you when it's a false alarm. You was on your Pokemon, I was reading France Fanon. My kids know the protocol, did it with a MasterCard.
Too out of function, too broke to dream. Searching for something, we're caught in between. To die, to be awake, to go, to be sleep. Shallow is the cause, but the pain is so deep. 2 scars I got, make it too hard to speak. Searching for something, but caught in between. These demons and these monsters at war inside of me. Shallow is the cause, but inside there's no peace.
Mom wonders why it's tucked under. Bloodsuckers, blunt the front runners. Lost a couple young brothers, lackluster crime busters. Blame the same thug numbers. Plunder, taking the London, call it out culture. I pull my pants up for jugglers. I pull my dance, kung fu the stance. Advance if you won't touch us. League of 9, keep the blood pressure right under. If you see me out, keep it love. fearless, you want fighters.
Too to function, too broke to dream. Searching for something, we're caught in between. Too tired to be awake, too old to be asleep. Shallow is the cause, but the pain is so deep. 2 scars I got make it too hard to speak. Searching for something, but caught in between. These demons and these monsters at war inside of me. Shallow is the cause, but inside there's no peace.
Yeah, this the guitar he was talking about. Hey, T. Vibe with me.
I've been too out of function, too broke to dream. Searching for something.
That's how we close off the show. Thank you so much for allowing us into your homes. We do it again next week, Friday, 8 p.m. exclusive to SABC News Channel 404. But you can call me Mne. From myself and the rest of the team, from our hearts to yours. Au revoir. Bye-bye.